Hello, this is Mac, and once again, we are refocusing Barbados. We bring you the issues, and we discuss them, and we intend to continue discussing the issues as they arise. But over the last 2 weeks, there were three issues that were of particular interest to me. Number one was, the first was the Nigerian student affair. Two, the Speaker of the House. And the third one was the NUPW's folly. The Nigerian student affair was an interesting one. The Nigerian students are here. The question is, if they've been granted visas to come here, on what basis were they granted visas? From my experience as a student attending college in the United States, the first thing you have to do is to satisfy the education institution that you can support yourself, or that you have received a scholarship and where the monies are going to be coming from to support you and pay for your tuition and other fees and so on. And upon that basis, they will issue you identity form. That's what you used to get when I was in college. But the other thing about it was, you had to be accepted by that institution in order for you to attend that institution. So you satisfy these requirements, then you are accepted. But what I found that was interesting was that the head of the BCC said they cannot accommodate the students. So how did they get here in the first place? How did they get visas if they were not accepted by BCC? And if they were accepted by BCC, how is it all of a sudden that they cannot be accommodated? The next issue, the Speaker of the House. I wonder what was the intention of the government last Tuesday's sitting. That looked kind of strange to me. I'm not saying anything else on that. And then the spectacle of the NUPW's march. Now that is what I call a spectacle. The NUPW wanted to send a signal to the government that it is serious. I believe it is serious. I believe it is serious. Serious nonsense. If you seriously look at it, if they wanted to send a message, you know they would have brought out their troops, right? To give support to the NCC employees. But I see it in a different way. And I saw it in a way to suggest that they were clever. I saw this as the psychology of mass control. When they're complaining, you're frustrated, all right, we can carry you for a walk. Come and go with us. We can carry you for a walk. And you can shout, you can complain, you can holler as hard as you want along the way. We have permission for the march. Come and go along with us. You get out your frustration, right? You get out your frustration. All those pent-up feelings are coming out on the march. You feel that you're doing something. Then at the end of the march, say, all right, no, you go down home. Rest on yourself. Even if we can't rest us again, we don't know we can do it we can carry on for another march. That's the psychology of it. The mass control of the NCC and former MCC employees. Now, these three issues are an absurdity in nature. It's foolishness when you look at these three things. There is so much folly surrounding all three of them. It makes you wonder what is really happening in our society. But the question I want to ask really, why hasn't our society been outraged by all of these things? Why haven't the society become angry at this type of behavior in our society? And I want to offer a reason for all of this. I think it is deep cynicism. Listening to people on a daily basis, what I have found and discovered is that there's deep cynicism. People have become cynical about the political process, about the political culture, and the political class. And when you really look at it and you examine the political culture, you cannot be angry at people when they say that this political culture that we have now in our society is self-serving. It is very, very self-serving. It seeks its own. The only thing they seem to do well is look after itself. And it is a very, very dangerous thing when a people have become cynical about a process which they had believed would have been there for them, or would have been there to assist them in achieving their goals and achieving their dreams. But when you look at the focus of the political culture, it has nothing to do with the national good, because it's self-serving. And when you start to examine and dissect this cynicism, you will realize that coming out of this is a lot of pessimism. And this is where we begin to enter dangerous territory. Because that pessimism informs hopelessness. People begin to feel hopeless about their future. This year we're going to have a lot of students leaving high school, BCC, UE. And they are going to add to the thousands who have been coming out of these institutions for the past few years and have nowhere to go, nothing to do. And I've said this repeatedly. We cannot afford to have our young people stop dreaming. Our young people must dream. And we have parents out there who haven't been working for a few years now, who are staring hopelessness in the face. And they're wondering, what is going to become of my children? And when you look at the dream and the vision of Arabara for what it means to our society, he would have built all of what he did upon an educational process through which people can extricate themselves from their circumstances and rise above all that was mundane and characteristic of that present age. So what is happening now is that the young people can't see any way in achieving social mobility. And the parents would have been working hard to ensure that they educate their children and that they can come up and be better off than them. You cannot afford to have a successive generation worse off than the previous one. And this is what we are staring in the face. And this is what is informing this pessimism and this cynicism. It is only fair for young people to have legitimate expectations, because it was fed to them. It was fed to them by the political class. And now it seems as though all of their hopes are dashed. They can't dream anymore. Do we really want our young people to be at this place? But there's another thing that we need to look at when we look at cynicism. And it's something that's just as dangerous as hopelessness. Futility. Do we want our young people to go on the block and stay on the block from morning to night thinking that all of their efforts are futile? Do we want our young people to start thinking in this negative sense about their future? That no matter what they do, everything is just futile, it comes to naught? No. We can't afford that. Do we want them to think that this present situation that has engulfed our country is irretrievable? And that's why when I see and I hear Mr. Oinafa behaving the way in which he's behaving, I get very, very annoyed. Because he's a man with a great intellect. He's a man with vast experience. And I'm saying Mr. Alpha ought to know better than to be at the place in which he is. Why is he relegated himself to this place? And my advice to him is, if he doesn't have a vision for the country, I think Mr. Alpha should shut up and do not make things worse for our young people. Because our young people know him. They don't know Arabara, nor Tom Adams, nor Sir Lloyd Erskine Sandiford. They know of none of the three of those. They know Mr. Arthur. So what is he doing when he behaves in this way? And you see what I'm talking about, the political culture and the political class? They are not projecting themselves into as a part of the future of our young people, or part of the future of our country. It seems to start with them and end with them, this self-serving class of people. But I want to say something, that we haven't seen the sarcasm yet that accompanies cynicism. And usually sarcasm comes out in our comedy, in our writings, in our theater. But we don't really have theater anymore. That's non-existent. When we reach the stage in our society where our people become sarcastic, you understand the level to which the political class have gone to really anger our society, where they are mocking the political class and the political culture that seems to be devouring our country. Sarcasm, people, it's a mockery. But you know, I'm hearing from people all the time, is that politicians just mocking people, making a mockery of the entire political system. But we have ourselves to blame. We have created a monster and we do not know how to contain it. That's the truth. And let me show you what I mean. If you go to a politician, you say to a politician, I ain't got no food in my house, I want some food. He pays for your food. My light off and I want money to pay my light bill. He pays for your light bill. You come back and say, I ain't got the gas to cook the food, I want some gas. He gives you gas. And everything you want, you sit down home and you say, I want it. And they want it from you, the politician. And the politician gives it to you. You better understand that that politician has a family. You better understand that he has needs and he has commitments. So if he's out of pocket altogether, answer this question. How he can take care of himself and his family? You can provide the answer. So you see how you have bred this monster? How you have nurtured it? We have done that. And we cannot get this monster back in the cage. It is out. It's on the loose. The only thing we can do is to really say to the political class, look, come in. No, we don't like what you're doing. Come, let me have some national reform. Let me look at this thing seriously. And what we have to do also is that when these politicians come every 5 years for the job interview, we do a thorough vetting of these people. because they know what they're going to do for us before the election, and after the election, I ain't saying no more. I am a very annoyed person. I'm having difficulty accepting this type of behavior from the political class. Tell me what you think. This has been Refocusing Barbados. Thank you.